Morning, everybody. April 28th, 8:25 a.m. Huge breakout yesterday. Well, not a breakout, short covering rally after the sell-off the other couple sell-off days. Um, Pretty crazy. And then at the end of the futures, like the thing just rocketed, probably because maybe Amazon's earnings. It's crazy. That was like a huge candle at the end of the day. Um, Chevron and Exxon reported they beat earnings this morning. Um, we only have really Apple left, and this market took quite a haircut in the futures after Amazon's bleak outlook on AWS. So this is just a crazy, crazy nuts market. You can't explain it any further. I mean, God bless you if you have swing positions on for more than a day or two, because it's crazy. So anyway, let's get into this. Quick introduction. My name's Steven Gonzalez. Welcome to my channel. I love to use volume and market profile along with supply and demand, and am really introducing these GEX levels. Really loving those. Um, it's just something else, boy, to watch those levels, and I will expand about that in the future. Just when I can speak about it with more authority, even though I feel like I have a really good grasp on it now, but I don't want to be talking about it and not be able to answer a question or something like that. So, without further ado, please subscribe if you haven't already. Really help out my channel, trying to grow it. All right, and you can follow me on Twitter, Gonzo719. You can follow me on Instagram, Gonzo719 Jersey. Now let's get into these the watch list. So good morning to everybody. Hope everybody had a good day. I actually didn't have the best day yesterday. Kind of got early on a couple of my entries. Got stopped out, and then of course they worked. So that's trading, um, and that's how it goes sometimes. So let's go into the futures watch list. All right, let's look at the VIX. The VIX is slightly up, 0.7. Bonds are being bought today. 30-year bonds are up 0.68. Crude is up 0.56. Dollar has strengthened with the yen has weakened. So Japan had some rate discussion, I believe, and they decided to do nothing, push down the yen. Dollar is pushing up now. I believe the yen is the second largest basket against the dollar next to the euro. So that's going to move the dollar. Nasdaq's down 0.28, ES down 0.31. We have big PCE data coming out in about a minute and change, and I will go to that. The Dow's down 0.34, gold's down under 2K at 1990 with dollar strength. Russell is down 0.43, silver down 0.49, ether down 0.8, bitcoin's down 1.42%. 10-year yield is down 1.5. All right, we have less than a minute left. Let's see here. I'll cover it until let's see. So Intel had good forecasts for their chips, hence why Nvidia and AMD are getting some love. Not huge love, but they're getting some love. And laggards, coin down 1.29. Just been getting hammered lately, with Bitcoin being down. Amazon with that AWS not looking so hot, down 2.52. Snow, obviously in that space, is down 3.37. Okay, let's go right now to the core PCE data and see what we have here. Expecting 0.3 month over month. Let's see what comes out here. We're going to get personal spending too. So should have just popped. There we go. Come on. I know it's already out there. What's going on here? Why isn't this updating? That's so weird. Oh, here we go. Okay, so price, let's see, PCE price index year over year 4.2. PCE price index month over month 0.1. So that went down, month over month went down. It beat. So this is going to be good. 0.1 as opposed to 0.3. I don't know why this forecast isn't here. I'm assuming this came in as expected. That's PCE. Core PCE. Okay. They expected 4.5. It came in at 4.6. So that's a tick up, which is not good. And then forecast here was 0.3. Month over month, it's 0.3. So it's the same. So the core is which the Fed looks at is hotter than normal. So very curious how the market's going to handle this. I'm hearing some large orders in my ear from time and sales. You can see right here, this is just ES. We'll just look at what price does here. Getting some type of volatility. But core PCE was hotter than expected by 0.1. So we're kind of just hanging out there, but you can tell that little red dot is moving around. I mean, 0.1 is not a ton, but it's not a good thing. Okay, its price is getting driven down a little more now. Alright, we'll keep our eye on that. See, we're at the bottom of the range of the overnight. So that tick up would definitely hold for a rate hike. So let's get back. Now, just real quickly, as we're going over this, okay, as we're going over this really quickly, just want to point out Chicago PMI comes out at 9:45. Michigan consumer expectations and sentiment come out at 10, which should have some volatility. So just be careful if you're in a trade at 10 a.m. Okay, I just wanted to point that out. And just to go over certain things that happened this morning. So a quick little rundown here. Amazon, talked about that, the web services. Intel said gross margins will improve. That's why AMD. Snap stock slumped 18.1% of the company, which owns photo messaging Snapchat. Pinterest stock fell 13%. Exxon stock rose because they beat. Chevron beat. Sony stock fell after Japanese conglomerate forecast its profit will slip from a record high. And then First Republic Bank rose on reports that the U.S. government is coordinating urgent talks to rescue the beleaguered lender. So that's what's going on there. I saw the France CPI rose higher than expected. That's really it that I wanted to talk about there. We can get back to the watch list as the market does what it does. We'll get back to it. We talked about these. We wrapped these up. Let's go to these. We know that Exxon, it's not even up that much really. That's really not a leader, right? Let's get to the laggards. Chevron, interestingly, is down. CAT is down 0.83, and Morgan Stanley financials taking a little bit of a hit today, and we can see that with the sectors. Okay, so the sectors here, let's go here. No leader to speak of. Okay, and we'll just look at the bottom. Basic materials, discretionary. Now discretionary is going to be Amazon and Home Depot and Tesla. Okay, but Amazon is a large weight in that sector. And then financials, Morgan Stanley. You got JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, those. But Morgan Stanley is the one that's hurting out of those right now, and the financial sector is a little weak. Okay. So now we can just, since we already covered some news, we can get into the daily charts. So let's go over there. And just a huge candle yesterday. So huge candle. So we basically, let's zoom in here. So look at this. This is kind of that's a very strong candle because you took out 2 days. So the shorts covered here, shorts covered here. We topped out kind of at these 2 days highs. So short covering rally. That's what that was. And now we're above the 20-day simple moving average and the 8 EMA daily. Okay, so we came all the way down here, 405ish, and now, we closed yesterday at 412, but right now we're at 411.13, so we're around here. Okay, we're about, but yeah, a couple days ago is high. This is 425's high. That's where we're at right now. Let's see what that looks like on a weekly. So you can see a big hammer. A lot of excess this week right here. Okay, a lot of buying right off that 10. Okay, so you can see that huge excess of buying. Let's look at the Qs. So the Qs obviously came way under this range. Had another day that was kind of in the middle of it. And then yesterday took out both of these shorts and these shorts and these shorts. So the Nasdaq just had a monster day. Like everybody, all these candles were taking out with one candle. Okay, that's basically a seller shut off, you can say. Came right up to this resistance level, and that's when it found a little bit of selling. So So the 320 level, it's the top of this range. So we're back, we traversed the whole range. I talked about this yesterday. Balance rules. If you come back up, you usually traverse to the other side. Okay, so now they're back above the 20 simple moving average and the 8 EMA. So look at it on the weekly, you'll see the same. You don't see the as big as an excess, but you are lower than NASDAQ. That's why. So look at that, pushed right off that 10 EMA, the 10-week EMA, pushed right off of it, and now we're right at the top. Okay, but where are we now? Right, we're at 319.64. So 319.64 is about right there. So we're near the highs of yesterday. Okay, let's switch over to the Dow. Now, the Dow, remember, it only holds 30 stocks. So came down here to this support, broke it, closed below it, and then what did we do yesterday? We pushed right off this 100-day moving average, went all the way. That's that key level, 336. Well, we smoked that level, came right up to this resistance right here. Okay, now we're above the 20 simple moving average and the 80 EMA daily, and currently at 336.83. So we're like right here. We're a little more closer to the mid of the range of yesterday. Okay, you can see the weeklies here. Big excess. Look at that 10-week EMA. All right. All right, let's go to the Russell. So the Russell had this big range, came under it, went to this 171. Yesterday we actually opened here, came all the way down, and then found buyers, closed up at the highs. But we really didn't take. You can notice the Russells. We didn't even take. We took out this can. We took out this candle only by a little bit. So there wasn't much short covering in the Russell. Whereas the Russell now, 172.60. So Russell's about right here right now. So at the mid of the range. So the Russell is the weakest right now. You can look at a weekly. Finds herself in this range. See that perfect range? Highs at 179.10, lows at 171.23. So we're just in the middle of this range. Okay. Alrighty. Now we can move on to the triple-headed monster. Let's get over to that. Okay, so here's a 10-year yield. Okay. Still indecisive. Still indecisive. So you had a big candle up, but now we're kind of like here at the lows of yesterday. 3.45. Okay, so you still have to wait. This is like a range we're going up and down in, right? You can see that. Let's look at the weekly. You can see this kind of like choppy range we're in, right? Okay, let's look at the VIX. The VIX was holding over this 1793 for a couple days. Well, now we're below it again with that big move up. We're currently at 17. Okay, so you can see at a very key support. So let's look at the weeklies, right? And you can see here, go all the way back from here, right? These lows is at 11, but these lows, they're around, I would say around 1548. So you can see we pierced for a long time. We did not pierce this level, but we did, and we came above it. But we have to see, do we get further downside to like 15? We haven't seen those levels in a long time. Talking about like, what is that? This is October of 2021. So have to really see what the VIX can do. Can it hold above this? Right? It's right here right now. So it's got to push above this, or if it cracks below it, could get the next move higher. Now the dollar's got some low because of that yen. So it's picking itself off. We talked about this yesterday, this support level that it's holding. If this starts moving higher, gold should hurt, silver should hurt, commodities should hurt, and equities should hurt when the dollar rises. Okay. All right, that's a look at that. Now we're going to look into the market profile. All right. Okay, let's look at this. So what are we going to look at, right? Let's look at the last week's profile. Not a very nice looking profile. We got some volume here, goes down, we got volume here, right? Not a very nice looking profile. Okay, so we have that, but we still have this monthly profile. You can see that here. It's more of a balanced, which is what we just did. So can this lead to further balance? It could. It definitely could. Yeah, Amazon was kind of poo-pooing the party with that AWS talk. All right, so let's look at that. We just looked at that. Now we're going to look at our key levels, right? So this most traded price of the month here, which was 41.48. I'm sorry, around 41.55 right here. This green box, basically. All right, this green box is a key level in the markets, the most traded price of the month. Okay. Now we did move the most traded price week down here at 4,100. It did move down lower. However, look at where the market ripped higher yesterday. It opened right there, and then it ripped. Hence why these shorts had to cover. Okay. So now that we know that, we have our big levels here. You got the most traded price of the month, got the most traded price of the week here. Okay. This could definitely move back here. Okay. Got a kind of a double distribution here. All right. And now we have to see what we're doing now. So here's yesterday's high. Went way up there. Yesterday's low. Had a 70-point range yesterday in the ES. Okay, so here's our overnight low, and here's our overnight high, and here's our overnight low. We're inside yesterday's price. Okay. Now you do have some single prints here in the profile, and that shows the emotional buying. Okay. So a couple things to note here when you have a large day like that. What are we going to talk about? We're inside yesterday's range, but emotional buying really started kind of down here, but the bulk of the single prints are kind of right here, and the midpoint is right here. That's the 50% mark, the Fibonacci of yesterday's move. Look where the low is of the overnight. It's right there. So that's a line in the sand. What is that level? 41.32. Okay. 41.32, 41.31. So that's a 50% of yesterday's move and the overnight low. Okay, so that's a very important level. You kind of like test the barometer of the move. If we go below that, well, then that's not good for the buyers. right? However, if you want to look at the emotional buying, it started here, right? So this is be considered like a spike. So spike rules, this is from shadowtrader.net, give him full credit, Peter Reznичek, right? Spike rules are, you just look at this big spike, and if the overnight is within the spike, that's bullish because you're accepting these higher prices. Okay, you're accepting them. You know, higher up in the spike, the better, the more bullish, right? However, if this holds, okay, but you got a monster level here, this is bullish. Doesn't matter if it comes down here and holds. As long as this holds the spike and you can start building out value, move this back up here, you build up fuel to make a move higher. Okay, but if we start to come back in the spike, right, and there's a little bit of single prints here, we could bring us right back to here. So we're within yesterday's range, holding it, that's bullish. Underneath this big level though is not the best thing. So this level is going to be a little hard to push through with the supply zone there as well. You also have monthly VWAP right here. Okay, let's get into talk about what I'm seeing here. We have single prints too, right, with down here. So if we come here, break the overnight low, this very well cannot hold, and like I said, all right, so difficult long up here, I would say. You know, with Amazon being so weak. Yeah, so let's just see here, okay? So what I'd like to see is if we hold the spike. So let's say we hold 41.32, the midpoint, and these signals. You know, it might be worth it if we come in here to this supply, sell off, we hold it, the overnight low and the mid, and the 9 EMA daily, make some lower highs, then you target this level. Okay, then you would go for yesterday's high and maybe hold a runner up to this naked VPOC up here around 41.75, 41.78. Now this would be tough sledding usually, but you want to go for the pullback. That's why I'd like to see this hold here. You hold, you hold, you hold. Sellers try to push it down, try to push it down, try to clean these single prints, and they can't. You go long. Okay, and you would basically be, these shorts would be covering. Now that's one other thing I want to talk about here, is it's in the middle, so it doesn't matter, but just to show you the majority, this is all the buying that's happened overnight right there. This is all selling. So this could fuel that move higher. So the majority from yesterday off the top, right? Now I know there's buyers. I'm talking about overnight. Let's just talk about the overnight. The overnight is pretty much close to 95% short, but it's in the middle. Okay, but just everybody's been short, and I don't. It's in the middle, so I don't really like this. But I'm just giving you a for instance. So let's say this: everybody is short overnight, and they already took profits right here about, right? But let's say the market comes up here, and then you get more shorts that think they're going to take it out. That's why I think if this holds, that's the nice long. Okay. Of course, you can wait for us to take out the supply and hold here, and then you target. You have a shorter target to yesterday's high, and then you can go here. That's more conservative. Okay, let's talk about the short. Okay, now we have single prints here. Okay, you have a lot of most trader price is still down here, right? So then it just took off. So what you could see is, you could see us coming to this big level. We'll use this big level with the supply, And if you see the market push into the supply and you can't break it, put some lower highs in. You short right to the overnight low, 41.31. That's also going to be the midpoint. Remember, that's the 50% retracement, so it could rocket off of this. Or if you get some volume, push, hold, we go down to yesterday's much straighter price in here. Okay. That's what I'm seeing. Another short that could possibly come into play is if we make ourselves up to here, yesterday's high, and the market does not get strong, then you target here and then you go down here. So it was really tricky with Amazon because the previous days you had Microsoft, Meta, what else? Google kind of lift the markets. Now you have Amazon kind of weighing on it, so it makes it a little different. All right, let's look at the NASDAQ. And NASDAQ, interesting, it actually gapped it down right here. I'm going to bring this lower. All right, real quickly, you can see the difference in the NASDAQ, right? So we got their monthly profile that's very balanced. And we have excess now up here on the week profile, right? But it's very bad. It's not ugly looking like the ES is. Okay, and the most trader price of the week is down here at 129.50. But look at the difference in the NASDAQ. The most trader price of the month, it's way above it. We're below it in the ES. This is way above it. This is so much more bullish in the NASDAQ. Okay? So much more bullish. So we got our key levels, which were above. So we're bullish, right? Now we have single prints too. And the midpoint, again, right here, about 131.68. The overnight low in the mid is being held by the overnight. Okay, again, we're also almost 100% net short. So this is a pivotal point. You have single prints here, the midpoint, overnight low. Okay, so if this holds, it could be a nice long. And now there is a supply zone here. Okay, but if you get strength, oh boy. Okay, so we got our game plan now. NQ showing us bullishness, right? So if it holds up here in this spike, it's bullish right now. It's accepting these higher prices. Okay, it's accepting them unless this gets taken out. All right, let's get into a trade plan. I didn't put the other one up here, but I'm going to put this one up here. Okay, let's talk about it. So overnight low, high, overnight low, yesterday's high, yesterday's low, monster range, 318 points in the NASDAQ. Huge. Took out so many days of selling. All these taken out. Okay, that's why the move was so big. Okay, so we're basically got a bounce profile here. It's not telling us much, but it's telling us accepting higher prices. So let's talk about the long. Okay, we have our 131.72, 131.68 range. Okay, what could happen? Well, there's a supply right here. So if you come in here and we sell off, I would love for the market to come in here, try to go lower, hold it, hold it, hold it. You go long, you can target yesterday's most traded price. Then you go right for yesterday's highs. Okay. Now, do we break yesterday's highs and go up to the next supply? I don't know. That's 134. Do you get another big day? I don't know. Amazon has to turn around in order for that to happen. Okay. That's what I see. Okay. Now, the other long, because these levels are so big here, we could even break down in this monthly VWAP here, and we could even test this level. And if this holds, high or low, sellers try to get somewhere, that's your long as well. And you target the most traded price of the day, which I don't know what that is yet. You could target here and then go for that high. Just because this level's so big, it should be supportive. Okay, that's the most highly probable setup. If it falls down here to demand, well, now you're below this level. The long is highly probable. Okay, so that's the long side. Short side. Okay, so we know everyone's long. We got longs in here. Okay, so short, you could obviously come up a couple things. Okay, you could come up into this supply, hit yesterday's most traded price, get some weakness, boom, you target 50% retracement at the end of these single prints. If there's volume and weakness in that market, you follow this right to here, 130.70, the most traded price of the month. If you hold one on again, we could possibly go down to yesterday's lows, because this is pretty much short covering, and this could happen very quickly. Don't know if it happens though, right? Or we come up here to yesterday's highs into this supply. It's a little supply zone. Try to break it, get some weakness. You can short here, target this, target the mid, and then again here. That's what I'm seeing today. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to everybody. That will be it for me today. It's Friday, so I hope everybody's going to have a good weekend, have a good trading day, stay green. Of course, show some love, subscribe, set an alert, right? It'd be great if you can give me a nice big like. And of course, always, you got my social, Twitter, Johnzo719, and you have my Instagram. Okay. And I wish everybody good luck today. Stay patient. And we got our plan. So if you don't hear from me, everybody have a good weekend. All right? Take it easy.